They weren't perfect. They weren't powerful. Some were widows, and one was even a prostitute. Yet they changed history. These 7 women did not just survive, they defied the odds, and their faith still speaks to us today. Welcome back to the channel. If you are passionate about growing in faith and learning more about real stories in Scripture, you're in the right place. Today we're talking about 7 women in the Bible who faced impossible situations and overcame them with bold faith. Their lives will challenge you, encourage you, and maybe even call you higher. Let's get into it. Rahab the risk taker. Rahab was a Canaanite prostitute with no social standing, no clean record, and every reason to stay silent. But when Israel's spies came to Jericho, she chose faith over fear, hiding them at great personal risk. Her reward? Her entire family was saved, and she became part of the lineage of Jesus. In Hebrews, in the New Testament, it even says, "By faith, Rahab did not perish." Priscilla the teacher. Priscilla, even more than being a great supportive wife, was a theological powerhouse. Alongside her husband Aquila, she corrected the mighty Apollos and helped shape the early church. She was a woman who did not wait for permission. She walked in purpose. Acts tells us they explained the way of God more accurately. Anna, the faithful intercessor. Anna was a widow who could have disappeared in her grief. She was devoted to worship, fasting, and prayer, but she was one of the first to recognize Jesus as the Messiah. Hidden but holy, her devotion was not wasted. In Luke, it tells us she did not depart from the temple, worshiping night and day. The Samaritan woman, the witness. She was an outcast, a woman with a past. But when she met Jesus at the well, everything changed. She ran back to her town and became the first evangelist, leading many to believe. In John 4, it says, "Many believed because of the woman's testimony." Lois and Eunice, the legacy builders. They weren't on big stages or leading revivals. Lois and Eunice passed down real faith to their son and grandson, Timothy, a key leader in the early church. Never underestimate the power of a spiritual heritage. 2 Timothy 1 says, "Sincere faith that lived in your grandmother and your mother." Ruth, the loyal outsider. Ruth was a Moabite, an outsider by every definition. But her loyalty to Naomi and to God opened doors to redemption, royalty, and legacy. From widow to an ancestor of Jesus. Where you go, I will go. Your God will be my God. Esther, the brave intercessor. The queen with a hidden identity. Esther could have played it safe, but when her people faced destruction, she chose to take the risk and stand in the gap. Her story reminds us, you were made for such a time as this. Who knows whether you have come to the kingdom for such a time as this? These women did not have perfect lives, but they had bold faith. They weren't the expected heroes, but God used them anyway. And today, their courage, devotion, and legacy speaks straight to you. Which woman's story hits you the most? Tell me in the comments. And if this encouraged you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more biblical deep dives.